Hey guys, it's Caroline, career and leadership coach. And today I want to talk about something that a lot of my clients ask me, and I thought to share 4 insights with you today. And the question is, of course, what to say in a coffee catch up with someone in my network, and definitely when you're looking for a job. And this is something that a lot of people struggle with. What do I say? Where do I go? Because I haven't really touched base with that person in a while. And so now I'm reaching out and they want to meet up with me. That's fine. But how do I get information out of them and ask them maybe if there is a job, or maybe can position me for a job that I've seen on their website? Whatever it is, you want to position yourself the right way so that they refer you, because there is something really powerful in having an internal advocate. We all know that companies spend a lot of money and resources on developing a referral program and rewarding their own employees to refer people. So we want to capitalize on that. So what do you say? How do you go about it? Somebody said, yeah, sure. Want to go and catch up for a coffee. So what's next? So like I said, there are 4 key things. And the first thing that you need to do is basically do your research. And I don't mean like your plain research about the company and have a look if they are actually recruiting for a position that matches your skills. I mean, do your research in terms of what you can get out of that conversation. So, for example, you look at the person LinkedIn's profile and you see which companies he or she has worked and who he or she is connected with. And so besides actually positioning yourself to be good for a job that they have, you also want to take the opportunity to expand your network. Now, this is really critical and important. So I'm going to repeat that. If you do the right research and you come across like organizations that they have worked in that you're interested in, or they have contacts already like that you want to connect with, then take that information and prepare yourself to go in a meeting with that. So you can have a meeting with a sole objective, like, okay, I want to get a job out of it. And that is very unlikely unless you know there is a vacancy. You have to really take a step back and say, like, look, what I want to do is really, of course, build relationship. Everything is about building that relationship, but it's also thinking about what is the next step for me? Who else can I connect with? So imagine this scenario, and it happened to several of my clients, and it's so powerful what I'm sharing here with you. It's like you do your research and you meet, for example, Tina. And you know Tina for ages ago. She was a colleague at a company you worked and blah, blah, blah. And then you actually see that Tina is connected with Mark and John and Freya. And you think like, oh my God, that would be good to have an introduction to them. Wrong. This is wrong. So what you do in that scenario is when you have your meeting and you're just like catching up about what's going on in their world, and you say like, look, I couldn't help but notice that you're connected with Mark, John, and Freya. Like, how do you know them? And would you mind, and you literally say this, would you mind when I reach out to them if I mention your name? And that is powerful because you keep the control with you. Otherwise, you give the control away. You say like, hey, can you introduce me to them? And then you wait a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. And then it's like, hey, do you have any news yet? Like you have no control of what's happening. So the power here is actually enabling yourself to extend your network and to be prepared to have contacts. Like that could be even like seeing if they worked in a certain company and that you're interested in that company. So you do your research in which division of that company you would suit, and then you say like, hey, I noticed that you worked in this company. Would you do you know this person, or would you mind if when I reach out to that person, that I mention your name? Because that way you have a referral. Now, having a referral, that could be of getting a close referral that they're really your best buddies and know how you work, or getting an acquaintance referral, but it's still a referral. And your success rate increases drastically when you have a referral, when you actually can drop a name drop. We all know how powerful that is. Second thing that you do is you ask questions. The biggest mistake that I see people make is they talk about themselves the whole time. I've done this and I've done that and I've done boo ba be. And that is so wrong, because you need to be able to show interest in them. So understanding what their challenges are, what their issues are, and that comes from the research that you would do like on the organization. So for example, if you know that the organization just went through a restructure or a massive growth, has new projects, has signed new projects, a merger and acquisition, whatever it is, then you say like, how is that going actually? How is that affecting the culture? What kind of challenges are you going to currently seeing? Like, I followed it, but because something was published and I read it with interest because I know you work there. But like I'm interested to see like your perspective, to understand your perspective, and then they open up and then they start talking about that, and you will need that in the next part. So the first part is like ask question, listen. And then the next part is how you sell yourself is actually by injecting or linking back your experience to what the challenges are that they have. And it's not like, oh yeah, I can do that. It's more like, oh yeah, that was a similar project that I worked on, and we did it this way, but we faced those problems. Are you guys also seeing that? So you link it back and constantly giving those feedback loop, opening those feedback loops to them. Because at the end of the conversation, what you want to end up with is that they say, oh my God, you have been exactly in that situation that we are in at the moment. And then the conversation can go two ways, because sometimes you meet up with somebody for coffee that is not the decision maker, that's more a peer. So they can then refer you to the person that is basically looking after that division, or they can refer you internally. And at the end of the conversation, when you build rapport, you can say like, look, actually, I didn't want to catch up to get a job out of it, because it's almost asking a girl to marry you on the first date if you don't meet that person. So you can say like, look, I wasn't really, I wasn't actively approaching you for a job, but now we're talking and now I understand better your business. I am in the market and exploring opportunities. So if you know of anything in the organization, I would be more than interested to continue the conversation. And that's a very soft approach in terms of saying like being pushy and salesy, because you add value to the conversation, because they feel suddenly that you can contribute, solve or help or support or whatever it is, their problem. And then there is the fourth element. That's really the bow around the package, or how do you say that? Doesn't matter. It's the end, it's cherry on the cake, whatever it is. It is knowing your unique value proposition. Now, that unique value proposition is so important, that you know your strengths, that you know how you want to position yourself and what you're looking for. So before even starting to talk with anybody in your network, even before applying for any job, you need to know your unique value proposition. And I speak to so many people, and I have spoken to so many people, that when I ask, what is your unique value proposition? They give me just a generic statement that everybody would say. but that is not going to set you apart. So you have to come up with what is your unique value proposition and how you can market that, because that will make it so much easier for somebody to refer you, whether it's internally or externally. Because if you just say like, oh yeah, I'm a marketing director, I'm a sales director. Yeah, okay. You can do a lot of things in marketing. Then you can do a lot of things in sales. Are you an international sales director? Are you an international marketer? Are you specializing in local? Are you specializing in franchisees? What is it? And then you build out your unique value proposition, because a one-liner is not good enough. So you need to actually think about, how do I want to position myself? Because that way, when you network with people, whether that is in a coffee catch-up or a networking event or whatever, what you do is you establish yourself as, I am good in this and I can solve that problem, and this is how I do it. So you give them ammunition to basically refer you. So, for example, if you're meeting up with somebody that is not in your line of industry, but works at a company or is in your network and works for a company that you want to work for, yeah, like over time or directly, whatever. And what you then need to do is to make sure that you are able to give them an idea so that they think of you whenever that problem comes. And that's the key. That's the link. It's not easy. Like, I work with so many people on refining that unique value proposition and making sure we nail that so that they are comfortable talking about that to other people and know how to introduce themselves. Because that person, they might go somewhere else and they might actually, I know this person, he can do that or she can do that because this is what she has done before, solving that problem, and they don't need to have worked with you. One of my clients actually just had that exact thing happening to him, because basically it was very clear. He spent the time on a catch up with somebody. That person referred him to another person in another company. And so that's how he got an informal interview. He met a hiring manager before even like the whole interview process came official. And that's how you create opportunities. But basically, you need to put yourself out there and you need to take the first step in identifying what makes you you. And if you skim over that, then all the rest will be lost, because applying for jobs won't work. Going for interviews won't work because you can't sell yourself, because it's basically it. You're selling product you. So you can't sell yourself, and you can't really capitalize on networking opportunities, on really like gaining momentum in your network. I hope that makes sense, and I hope those 4 steps were really like one of them like was like a light bulb moment for you. So to recap, the 4 steps are doing your research really well so you can actually ask for referrals. And the key with asking for referrals is keeping the control with you, not giving that control away. Second thing is ask question, and listen. So you actually have a wealth of information that you can work with. The third one is to link that back to your experience in a subtle way, so you're not overselling yourself and you're not pitching yourself. And the fourth thing is knowing your unique value proposition, knowing what makes you you, so you can actually introduce yourself, or if they ask you like, hey, Caroline, what have you been doing? Then you can actually pitch yourself in the right way so that they actually, in the back of their minds, they remember that. And that's basically what you want to do. So if this video resonated with you, give me a thumbs up or put a comment below if you agree, if you have any other tips and strategies or insights that you want to share with everybody on LinkedIn. And if you know somebody that needs to hear this message, please forward or share this video or live stream. Now, another thing, if we are not connected, if you came through across this live stream by accident, connect with me. I for a fact, I'm a big believer in networking, and the more people I can reach through LinkedIn with my message, the more people or the more careers that I can help transform by sharing my knowledge and my expertise. And so then the second step, if you are actively looking, and if you say like, look, my resume is not getting me anywhere, and that unique value proposition thing that you were talking about interests me, go and download my free resume template. So it's a 6-figure resume template, and you can find it. The link is, I will pop the link below this live stream also. And what it basically tells you is it's not just a template. It's going to tell you exactly what to put in each section. And it's also going to talk about the 5 sections that are non-negotiable, that I know work. And this template is not a template that I created. I wish I did, but it's just like what I've seen working over the many years working in the recruitment and the HR industry. So go and download that template. See how it matches up to your resume. And that template works as well for my clients in the US, in Europe, or in the UK, or in Asia, or here in Australia or New Zealand. So it doesn't matter where you're based. This template talks about what's behind the resume rather than just like the pretty format that you have to follow. So if you want to take one step further, and if you're really like almost like pulling the alarm bell and saying, SOS, I need help, what I want you to do is book a strategy call in with me. So you can go to newhorizoncoaching.com.au/call. And we will have like a 45-minute strategy breakthrough call. And on the call, it's going to be very simple. It's going to be zooming in, understanding what your current challenges are that you are facing in your career and in your job search or in your job in general, where you want to be, what's holding you back. We map out a little strategy so you get an understanding of how to go from one place to the other place. And then at the end of the call, if you say, Caroline, I want you to help me implement this plan, then we can do that. Otherwise, I'm very sure that you have spent the best 45 minutes on your career, understanding key concepts and understanding those takeaways. So I know that was a lot to process. So let me know what your biggest takeaways were from this live stream. I would love to know. Pop it in the comments. Was it doing the research? Was it the ask, and listen? Was it really linking that back and inserting your the way you can sell yourself by linking your expertise to their problem? Or was it creating your unique value proposition so that they can refer you within the company or externally? All right, I hope this helped, and I will see you in the next live stream. See ya, bye.